Ladies and gentlemen, the day has come for me to interpret the pet goat for you. And I'm going to try to make this very brief because I actually am in a hurry. I want to apologize for my technical. I'm not that technical, so I'm just basically going to video this movie in front of my computer screen where I can control and point things out to you while the video is going. And I'm going to talk fast because the video itself is already 10 minutes. And I don't want the video to be too long. This is my very first video. If you have any questions, please free to comment below. And so let me, first of all, let me explain to you, let me introduce you to Pet Goat 2. So number one, this video was introduced to the world back in 2012. June of 2012, a Hollywood director released this video. It's an animation. It's believed to be a message from the Illuminati regarding the second 9/11. Now, the significance of the pet goat is a couple of things. So first of all, as you can see on the right, we have the Baphomet with the goat head. And I would like to also remind you that Jesus is the lamb. So you have the lamb and his representative, and you have the goat and the goat's representatives. Now, so Pet Goat is the book that George Bush was reading to the kindergarten classroom on the morning of 9/11. If you all are not familiar with that, you can go back and look at some footage. But for the record, the book was upside down. So it is believed that what was actually carried out was a satanic ritual. That said, let's go ahead and get into the video. I've already taken up 2 minutes just in this intro. So I'm going to get us started, and I will pause between a few scenes to point some things out to you as we go along. Now this is the full version, and I'm just going to kind of talk along with it as we go. In the full version, which is about 3 minutes longer than a shorter version that is also out there, you get a lot of introduction to these Egyptian characters. The movie basically opens with the pet goat here in a pseudo cell. You can see the police officer here walking the dog. We got the chain link fence. You notice here the puppet master, and I'm just going to freeze and go back to that scene just right quick and freeze it there. Again, apologize for my technical. Now, just want to note for you here the dollar sign shaped ring that's also in the form of a serpent. You can't make it out probably that well from my camera video, but this creature, Puppet Master, also has the reptilian skin. But he is controlling his puppets. And also let me point out here on the actual words of the iPet Goat, that's 9 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, including the comma, 9/11. So you've got the 9/11 right in the name of the video. Let's keep going. So the puppet master is controlling his number one puppet, George Bush. Now, as you recall, again, I want to draw your attention also to the checkerboard flag down on the floor there. Now, I'm going to freeze here for a second just to point out the shark. I want to point out the ejaculation. There's some type of birthing going on. Also, let me show you the owl that is above the clock. Now, we never see a full image of this map of the United States, but you see a couple of thumbtacks on there. And I also see that snow. Now, I see that snowflake, and now as I think about it here, today is April the 18th. I'm wondering if that is the snowstorm I'm anticipating that may come into our country this weekend, although it's 85 degrees today. But, you've had some events in the area. That's Oklahoma. That's obviously New York. You've got, looks like Louisiana. It looks like maybe even the Gulf of Mexico. So these could represent older events. Also the owl, I'll just go back to the owl. The owl represents Satan, Lilith. The owl is a very common theme throughout our world. But, just want you all to make sure that you recognize the wise owl is the representative of Satan. Now, Bush is wearing the D hat here. This is the dunce. Could be the devil. We don't know what the D on the hat stands for, but I'll show you something else a little later on. So let's look at this a little bit more of this board. Okay, now I'm going to press play here and keep going. You see the hangman, he's already dead. As they were trying to spell what believes is evolution. There's the 12 o'clock. You've got a reference to the evolution up here. There's Oprah. Now, you've got, again, tens of thousands of people all over the world have attempted to dissect this video and let you know what they believe it means. I'm just going to point out something. So you've got not sure what the F equals minus F. That could be Fahrenheit. Again, looking back at the snowflakes over there. But again, I'm not sure. Looks like we've got a brain here that's electrocuted. And then we've got the serpent here, and then we've got a heart. Something's going on with this heart, and then drawing your attention here to these hearts. And also I'm going to turn this back on, but this figure here, I believe, represents Oprah. And the reason that I believe it actually represents Oprah and not the kindergarten teacher that was in the classroom with George Bush is, for one, it's these little hearts. And, Oprah's got one of the largest false religion churches in the world with her one love, which I believe this hearts represent, this one love. Something's burning, that shark, we've had shark jaws in our life, unsure exactly. Now, as you can see, got to pause it there. George Bush spinned around. I'm going to just rewind that back a little bit for you. Okay, so as you can see, I'm going to let you see this. George Bush is spinning around and he becomes Obama. And let me freeze it here for a number of reasons. So now Obama's wearing a graduation hat, so he's graduated. So I think we're looking at another level, but I'm not certain of what level of what. Also, they flash for you right here. They flash this fang. That could be a reference to their bloodline relation to Vlad the Impaler, who was also the real Count Dracula. These are blood relatives, Barack Obama and George Bush. Many people interpreting this just assume that it means they play on the same team. However, from my own personal studies, I will say that it's deeper than that. I believe these two combined have fulfilled the prophecies of the book of Daniel regarding the last king on the earth, the king of the fourth part of the world, the fourth kingdom on the earth. They have fulfilled those prophecies. And so it's very significant to me, this transition from Bush to Obama. But let's keep going. Now again, so Obama's laughing. You're going to see the little LOL. That could be room 101. And I know room 101 is associated with death. Okay, now we're back to this Egyptian scenes. And again, these are not in the shorter version. But, I'd like to very importantly remind you all here and now that there is no such thing as aliens in our world. The History Channel, the government, they're attempting to introduce you to aliens. However, all aliens are in fact fallen demon angels, the angels that fell with Satan. And all these false gods of the Egyptians, of the Babylonians, of the Greeks, no matter what their name, Osiris, Horus, Tammuz, Ishtar, Isis, no matter who they are worshipped under, they are nothing but false deities. Now, I have heard that these triangular contraptions have been appearing in the sky all over the world. I haven't actually seen any or even seen any footage, only heard that secondary. But again, don't be surprised that the demon angels have greater technology than we humans have, and definitely expect it. Okay, and please keep in mind, they are not aliens, they are demons. So it appears they're assessing, the world that they're in the process of taking over. And that's what this video is all about. The incoming takeover and rise of the Antichrist and the rise of the Satanic kingdom upon our earth. That is what this video represents. Now here you go. Let me point you to the rabbit here. This is Alice in Wonderland. This apple, as you know, represents Genesis. I've seen a lot of breakdown of those little figures in the back. Again, draw your attention to the checkerboard floor. The apple hitting Obama's boots. Now, this apple is going into a lotus flower. My understanding, the lotus represents fertility. Again, we're looking at the birthing of the Antichrist. Now, here you notice that snowstorm. Also, Psalm 23. Looks like we are looking at the destruction of America. I believe that's a tsunami cloud, right? Tsunami wave right there. There's a number of indicators. You see the Twin Towers falling in the original demolition. And you see the orchestrator orchestrating the entire event. All these events leading to the birthing of the Antichrist as he begins to come forward from his dwelling place. Now, they're playing Monopoly, which is interesting. Not sure the significance of that, but Monopoly has controlled our world, and I bet if we look into it, we will find a lot of demonic situations. Now, I'm going to quickly go back here because there was something I did want to point out here in this part. Okay, I'm going to freeze right here on this frame. Now, as you can see, the character here is wearing white, and he's got an army behind him. He's leading some type of a military procession. Now, I am, ladies and gentlemen, for the last 7 years, the majority of people who have ever interpreted this video have called this individual Bin Laden. I believe that this individual represents Nipsey Hussle. And I will tell you why. Number one, and it's not, oops, sorry. You can't see it on this image here, but the Bin Laden or character here has a line in his eyebrow that actually matches with the line in the eyebrow of Nipsey Hussle. We also have the mustache. Bin Laden's mustache actually does not connect around the mouth as this individual's mouth does. Many of you had never heard of Nipsey Hussle, as I had not, but as I continue to follow the media, I have drawn this conclusion that it was him for a number of reasons. This moon here, Farrakhan, at the scene of the murder of Mr. Hussle, did place a wreath bearing this design at the location of the murder. We also have, which I think is very strong, leaning toward this being Nipsey Hussle, is we have these angel wings here. Okay, and then we have the CIA badge. Now, before I get to the CIA badge, I want to go back to these angel wings, which Nipsey and his lady had done a photo shoot for GQ, which my understanding, GQ also is very highly representative of the Masonic culture. But they had done a photo shoot for the Mason for the GQ, and they had posed with a white horse, which initially caused me to check the prophecy for the pale horse. The pale horse is a prophecy. I will tell you what that prophecy is. It says, "Behold the pale horse, and the name that sat on him was Death, and behind him followed Hell. And they were given the power to destroy the fourth part of the earth, the fourth part of the world, with the sword and with hunger and with the beast of the earth." Now, when I looked up the the fourth part of the earth, the fourth part of the world, I discovered there's a book out there called The Fourth Part of the World, A Race to America. So it looks like America is in fact the fourth part of the world, which would coincide with what I recently told you in the beginning, that George Bush and Barack had fulfilled the prophecy of the king of the fourth kingdom on the earth. So this is definitely lining up with that. Also, I don't know of a time when Bin Laden had on angel wings, but Nipsey Hussle did wear these angel wings. His name, Ermias Ashkadun, when you look at it, it actually bears a very strong resemblance to the name Armageddon. And we also have his brother, who is named Samael, who is the leader of the demon angels. Now, if you look back